myth. Lord have mercy, Yeshua HaMashiach. Oh, wait. Hey, quick ones. If you're here in the building with me, just give us a quick like or a comment down below and just show some support for Titans TV. So, Wednesday, we are supposed to be doing another live stream on Lloyd de Young's channel with Quranic Endgame, with Odon Fontaine. Forgive me, I mess up the names. And I'm sure there is somebody else as well. But yeah, there's going to be a live stream going on, which is going to be very, very interesting on there. I would love to see, you know, yeah, I love the panel of individuals because everybody has their own skills, qualities, like knowledge base that they will be bringing, and I can't wait to learn from those good brothers over there. Um, yeah. And again, we're going to be doing some breakdown. Ooh, the shadow. We're going to be doing some breakdowns on my presentation, and hopefully, there's going to be some more questions that's going to be asked. And I want it to be as critical as possible because you know me, yeah, I like pushback because pushback is like feedback and it allows me to hone in my skills, so to speak. It allows me to hone in my message, honing the clarity of what I'm putting forward on anything that I do. So it's like when you don't understand, let me sculpt my message in a way so that everybody can understand. So that's going to be awesome. So yeah, real quickly, the Meccan myth. I'm calling it the Meccan myth. I don't know what the show's going to be called, but of course, for those of you guys who know, who are part of academia and academic circles, we know that Mecca is a myth. We know Mecca is a myth, and any scholar that tells you otherwise, yeah, is a goddamn liar. There is no evidence to even suggest that Mecca is something that is a real place. Full stop. So it's going to be interesting to do that, but I'm going to be. I'll take the agnostic side, like in a sense that we know that it's not this great ancient city, right? No, it's not this great ancient city. But why was it chosen? I really want to know that question. Like, why was it chosen as a place, as a precinct, as a sanctuary, as a meeting place, as a pilgrimage spot? Like, why was that chosen? That's going to be, quite interesting to do because it's easy to do the knocking. When it comes to critical scholarship, it's easy for us to break down stuff and just say, why doesn't it make sense? Like, but why did it make sense to choose it in the 7th century, um, or even the 8th century? No, I would say 7th century. Why did you choose it to be the place, the sanctuary in the 7th century? What was the reason? What was the reason? It's going to be interesting. 7th century, late 7th century, early 8th century. What was the reason for that? It's going to be quite interesting to figure that out and find that out. It's all about detective work, to be honest with you. So that's something that I'm going to be a part of. I'm going to do a panel on that. I'm sure that I'm supposed to do a presentation on it. I haven't had no time to do anything, to be honest with you, but I know I'm supposed to be there. So I'm just highlighting that to you guys. So just know that to just tune in for that. Um, and it will be on Lloyd de Young's channel. Okay, but yes, family. Let me just quickly wipe this to make sure it's crystal clear. Just real quickly, I've been seeing what's going on online with let's say primarily David Wood. David Wood. Um, seeing that there is this Muslim called Malik and just doing stuff like doxing people and showing people's wives, and just doing stuff like that. It's like this is why, yeah, I stay away from low IQ individuals because it's like it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy what types of people are out there. Yeah, and they do this all in the name of religion as well. And a lot of these people just needs to be in a mental hospital or prison. Pick one, mental hospital or prison. Like, which one do you want to be in? Because quite clearly, uh, you're not safe for society. Full stop. So there's that. And then I'm seeing also other people on the other side that are doing things such as desecration of the Quran. And it's like both sides I don't agree with, and yeah, both sides I don't agree with. It's like why would you do something like this? And I love the WWJD, like what would Jesus do? And I'm just thinking like, because I admire Christianity. I don't admire Christians. Yeah, I admire Christianity, not so much Christians, because the Christians of nowadays, I'm like, I hear you. Like people are attacking you and all these things here. And this is why I say take time away from social media and debating world and all these things here. Like take some time out, touch grass, like go to the mountains and be there and hold a good meditation and connect with nature and connect with the divine world and connect with God. Like do that, yeah, and come back because really and truly, why would you do certain things? Like I'm always like, what would Jesus actually, desecrate another person's holy book? Would Jesus, I don't know, like would that be something to do? Like start putting like paper, Quranic papers in somebody in your mouth and chewing and spit it out and all them things dead. I'm like, bro, like it hurts my heart to see it, yeah. And not because it's a Quran, it's because it's a book. I'm a person that loves literature. I love books, full stop, like reading. And to me, I find it difficult because there's like books like children's books and stuff like that. That your child has gone past that age to read that book, and it's like I could never throw that book away into the bin. It's like I will go to my local library and like hand it in to be like, yeah, I know you lot do these things. I do that because it's like I've got a love for books and love for literature, and it's like, oh man, this is just not the way to move. But anyways, each to their own, each to their own, and I just think like it's very dangerous to tell other kind of rope other people, other human beings into doing the same thing. And let me give you some reasons why I think it's just dangerous. I just don't think that having this stuff out on social media, for one, is going to be beneficial in terms of like if I'm an employer and I want to employ somebody and I'm seeing out on social media they have desecrations like on their Facebook and all them things there of a particular religious text, I'd be like very wary because I'm like, oh, how can that affect my business for a person coming in who is of that faith, but the person here works and it's out in the social media world? I'm like, nah, that doesn't work for me. I don't know if I would employ you as an employee. So like, be careful what you're doing. Like, think about what you're doing. And then let's say, for example, you're going to school and it's there. It's like, be careful what you're putting out into the atmosphere. And I was watching something recently to say that a lot of Gen Zs are like gravitating towards religion. And I'm just scared for them in terms of like being in the real world and if they're that way inclined to be posting these type of desecrations of the Quran or any piece of it. It could be Hindu literature, Chinese literature. I saw something the other day where the monks were doing a walk, like a peace walk or something, and then somebody stopping them and saying, yeah, like give your life to Jesus. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, leave the people, let them be, let them go about their business. Like, this type of Christianity, I'm like, ugh. It's just like, it's very nasty. And it's like, yeah, clearly, like, if, you know, you can judge a fruit by the tree. Sorry, judge the tree by the fruit that it bears. I'm looking at a lot of these people, and it's like, look at who you're taking your religion or your argumentations from. It's like, are these the type of people that you want to aspire to be? Because you're gonna just like these people aren't perfect. These people aren't perfect, and they're actually indoctrinating you into their spirit, and their spirit, to me, is not a godly spirit. To be honest with you, I'll be real with you. I don't like some of these people how they behave. Like I'll tell you, some of the information is brilliant, absolutely brilliant, but their spirit, their morality, is like I'm even seeing borderline racism. Like, why? Why? Because if I was ever, I would call it a spade. I don't give a toss because nobody can tell me nothing. But and I was looking at David Wood and I was like, because these Dawa guys made up something about this David Sequoia. There's David Sequoia, and then they just put in on like this Mexican tropes and tacos and all these things here. And I'm like, why are we doing racialized tropes? It's like, for me, no, you lot might just see it as jokes and fun, and it's just like whatever banter. But I'm like, uh. To me, I don't like them type of banter there. I'm not even Mexican, and I don't like that banter. Truth be told. So now you're telling me like you're just giving me a stereotypical Mexican, and it's not a Mexican. It's a Mexican that's selling Taco Bells, and you're now putting on like chains and all these things there and talking a certain way. I'm like, oh man, what type of what is this? But anyways, each to their own. I'm just me. I'm just giving my own opinion on stuff. Like, who am I, right? Cool. What's good? Elry Medez is up in the building. Um, okay, okay. Cool. Um, Happy real with you. I've realized that a lot of the languages I've learned, I've kind of lost it. I'm losing it because I don't use it. I was having a conversation about the Quran and Arabic and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh, I don't actually read the Quran as I used to in my like earlier years. So it's like my Arabic has like gone downhill because I don't use it. So if you don't use it, you lose it, which is very, very interesting. Very, very interesting to see the mind. It needs to actually have constant reinforcement. And yeah, so yeah, shouts out to you anyway. I'm not going to try to even read the Arabic that you've just posted up at all. But yeah, okay, so that was that. So I saw that on online today. To do with all of that stuff, and all of these dour bros doing nonsense, doxing people, and then the backlash of people like David Wood and AP and all of them people there posting up stuff, and it's like, these are just children stuff, man. Like, I just see a lot of these people as just children, like big, big, big children, absolutely big children. And again, I'm not saying that I don't. I'm not even trying to say. I'm not even trying to be disrespectful, because I really do enjoy some people's arguments. Sometimes I enjoy their content. Sometimes, but sometimes I'm like, this is just childish, man. Absolute childish stuff. But anyways, that's that. That's just me giving my own little take on certain things. So yeah, we're gonna be doing something on Mecca, and I have to now refresh myself and actually go back into the books like the Quran and just read that up to see, how did I even interpret that in the first place, and give a breakdown of that, because my mind is so far removed from like apologetic works. It's like, I don't even care. You can't. I care about history. What can I prove? And for me to talk on Mecca, it's like you can't prove Mecca. So it's like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Let's start talking about the history. All I want to do is like, in my head, I'm like, I just want to talk about the historical Muhammad, and the Abyssinian Arabia and the Quran and these types of things here, where it's like, to me, that's much more interesting, because that's me, that's detective work, that's archaeology, that's records, that's history, that is firmly placed information. Okay, let me see. Well, you have Arabic as a memory. Yeah, I do. I do. I do. I do. And even like Greek, yeah, because I was, when you're doing your research now, it's like, oh yeah, when you like, you used to read Greek, but now you haven't used it in so long, you're even, I'm gonna put it, the graphemes. So the graphemes, so for example, the alphabets. It's like, oh, I need to refresh myself to even be able to read the script, the alphabets itself. It's like, oh, sugar, that's crazy. Like, is you're just losing certain things. I'm gonna have to go back, because I need to go back and now start reading the hieroglyphs, because I'm scared that I'm gonna lose my ability to read hieroglyphs as well. So that's kind of crazy. That is crazy. If you don't use it, you're gonna lose it. So get back on it. Get back on it, because I enjoy reading hieroglyphs. That's one language, or one language, one set of stuff that I know I love. So I need to make sure I actually read that again. Yeah, yeah. But talk to me, family. Talk to me. I'm here just killing some time, uploading some content. Wow. Why do I feel as though it's gone up in time? It's taking so long. Yeah, talk to me, family. Talk to me. What are you guys saying? What are you guys saying? And let's see if I can. I might just pull out some because it's called Meccan myth. Let's just pull out some information on Mecca. Um, cool. So I think in the Quran there is one place that Mecca has been used. The word Mecca has been used, right? Only one place inside of the Quran, and it doesn't really give you any type of information at all. None whatsoever. My bed is looking one way. Yeah, it doesn't give you any information at all. Nothing. So it's like, what are we doing here? The rare you get the stories of Mecca and so forth is in the Syria literature and hadiths. And we all know that stuff comes like 200 to 300 years later. Um, Minimum 200 to 300 years later. So it's like, cool, cool. But then you also know that, for example, the city Medina is a new invention as well. Like Medina, it was never called Medina before. It was always called Yathrib. So if you know they've changed the name of the city called Yathrib, which is we can archaeologically say we know this place exists. It's in written records. Yathrib actually exists. We know that for a fact via history. But they changed the name to Medina. So when I ask the question, okay, if they changed the name of that city to Medina, is it now possible they could have changed the other city that they're calling Mecca into Mecca? And what was the name of that city before it was called Mecca? In fact, was it even a city before? That's another question. Because we know it's not on any of the trade routes. It's completely off the beaten path. So what was that all about? Why was that place constructed as a holy sanctuary? You dig? Because I remember reading the Quran and like reading the words in between and Mecca and so forth, and I was like, oh, that's something to do with inside the heart or something like that. I can't remember the terminology, but I was like, okay, cool, you can read it like that. So why are people using that as a name of a place? It's like, oh, just like the rest of the Quran, what they do is take certain words and they create a backstory behind it. And it's like, yeah, we know that, but why? Why did they choose to do that for that particular area? Hmm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Then actually, I looked into the archaeological records and I was like, oh yeah, cool. I'm starting to understand now. I'm starting to understand. I'm starting to understand what Muawiyah and Abdul Malik did. And because there isn't enough information, it's like, ooh, cool, cool. I see what they did. I see what they did. So we all know, for those of us who know scholarship, right? We all know that Arabia, I'm going to say Arabia's central city was Marib, okay? Was Marib in southern Arabia. That was like the center, that was the capital of the Arabian Empire, okay? It used to shift depending on who would rule. Like if it's the Himyarites that was ruling, it would go to Zafar. And if it's the Sabaeans or the Ethiopians, it would go back to, Marib. Okay, so cool. We know that those were like the two capital cities of the whole of Arabia, depending on who's ruling throughout the last like 6, 7, 800, maybe even longer than that, maybe like 1,000 years, like even longer than that possibly. We know that those are the city of like the Arabian Empire. Cool. So, but why? Why did they change it from that to there? It's always like troubled me. And I remember Cristiano Roban wrote articles to show you that the same pilgrimage, the same sacrifice that was taking place in Mecca was taking place hundreds of years prior to Mecca in Marib. It's like, huh, cool. Like we know that. We know like Marib is where everything is, but there's nothing for this Mecca place. Absolutely nothing. Then you start going back into the stories and you understand the technology that took place. What was the technology that took place? Underneath Abdul Malik, he created Mecca as a sanctuary. He created the Masjid al Haram inside of Mecca for a reason. which really and truly we need some detective work to know why. Then after that, he created the pilgrimage ritual, and people started pilgrimaging, and he created the propaganda to go towards it and stuff like that. So we know that roughly took place during the lifetime of Abdul Malik. But then what else did we find out? We find out that there was another form of propaganda that took place. You can find within inside of like the Syro literature, where you find that Abraha, it all goes back to Abraha, doesn't it? Abraha built a cathedral inside of Sana in order to get the pilgrims from Mecca to go to his capital. But hold on, hold on. There's no records of anything taking place in Mecca. But we know that these people were always going to like this region here in South Yemen, south of Arabia, to do pilgrimage and to do all these things here. What? Why would he be? And if you see how small the Kaaba is in comparison to the buildings inside of South Arabia and other places, even the Dry and all these other places, you're like, why? Like nobody is actually going to be competing with some like off place. Like nobody goes there. Nobody does never heard of it. Everybody who does business travels to south of Yemen, south of Arabia, Happy Arabia. That's what they called it. Happy Arabia, Arabia Felix. Like Romans, Persians. Everybody goes to the South Arabia. So why? Why would nobody's this off-beaten place, right? There's no competition. Why? And then you realize, oh, it's propaganda. Ah, I understand now. Basically, they're saying, giving you that story to let you know that South Arabia was in competition with Mecca. But really and truly, the true story is Mecca is in competition with South Arabia, and we now need to have a story as to why people are migrating to South Arabia, even though we have our own Mecca place here. Oh, so now the enemy wanted to destroy Mecca and establish their place. But the reality is, no, South Arabia was always been the place. You've come lately, you've created this new place, and you're trying to give a story as to why people are still going to South Arabia when they should now all come and visit your particular location. It's like, oh, cool, it makes sense. It now makes sense what you're doing here. Cool, technology at its finest. Technology at its finest. But again, I'm always asking like, why? Why that place? Why that place? And I'm looking. I'm like, okay, cool. There is a port nearby. There's two ports nearby actually. But like the closest people are the people coming from like Nubia, Sudan. Those would the people be coming from like Africa into Arabia. That would be that Mecca region. It's like, okay, maybe it could do with. Anyways, it's very interesting to kind of figure out what was going on or why did this take place. Like, why? Because what's his name? Abdul Malik. What did he do? He created two places actually. He constructed the Masjid al Haram in Mecca, and then he also done the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem. So it's very interesting that he was just creating two different places for people to do pilgrimage. I guess one is for the people within inside of like Arabian Peninsula, and the other one is for people up in like Damascus and Syria to come and go visit. Very interesting, man. Very, very interesting stuff. But yeah. As I said, learning religion is very nice. Um, Let me go back and read some of your comments. I think you might find studying about Mecca will link to a lot of stuff you are finding out. Yep. Okay, greetings. What's good? Cohen Xmas. Callum, who was ruling Mecca in the 6th century? Depending on the time, it would be the Axumites, and I distinguish the Axumites and the Habashi. So, Axumites were ruling, and then the Habashi underneath Abraha and his son, etc., ruled. So, yeah, Axumites were in control. How did you learn to read the hieroglyphs, the Medinetta? Everything in life, I'm autodidactic, meaning I was self-taught, learned it myself. Um, yeah, learning myself. And as I said, like it's a lot, to be honest with you, because you have 700 to 1,000 different hieroglyphs, glyphs, like individual, like alphabets, so to speak, that you have to learn. And with that, you comes like what's it called now? Mono. What's it called now? Mono. Oh my god, I can't remember now the terminology, monoliterals, biliterals, triliterals. There's even some quadriliterals. But anyways, you have to learn these stuff, and it's very very intense, very very intense language to learn. It's very easy. I found it very easy, but it's depending on your learning style. Because with me, hieroglyphs to me is just pictures. So it's like it's easier to read pictures than it is to read abstract things. So like letters, let me think right now. Like, for example, right now I'm learning guys, and with that, there's like 202 different graphemes or letters, so to speak, right? Um, that's more difficult because it's not based in reality. It's not based upon imagery with inside of nature that you can observe and see. It's like lines and squiggles, and there's rules, and it's like, that's difficult. To me, 202 letters is more difficult than learning 700 to 1,000 hieroglyphs. So yeah, so that was me. I was learning myself. As always, is just understand, just go Egyptology. What do people learn at Oxford University in terms of Egyptology? Okay, cool. Like once you've been to university, you kind of understand the flow. Like go check out, for example, you go onto university website, go on to, like, for example, choose the course you want. Oh, I want to learn Egyptology. Cool, Egyptology. What is the curriculum, the course studies, the books that you need to get? Okay, cool. These are the books that you need to get. Okay, buy up all the textbooks. Yeah, buy up all the different textbooks that you need to have, and read through them. Articles, read through them. Cool. And then once you do that, obviously it gives you the exercises of how you should learn, how you should learn it basically. And then after that, you're going to learn your own ways of learning. So for example, I might start recording myself speaking the language and playing it back, or I might test myself, or I might memorize certain things, whatever the case is. But like, there's ways, if you have been through education, you can know your own learning style, and you can just adapt to it and just create. I literally created a course for me to learn hieroglyphs. Yeah, that's why I did. I created a course for me to learn hieroglyphs based upon my own learning styles. And yeah, that was very easy to me to learn. Like I could learn hieroglyphs, took me about 2 to 3 years to really say, yeah, I'm proficient in hieroglyphs. Um, but within 6 months, you've got a good handle on the language, full stop. Any language you could just learn in 6 months. But to say like you're proper fluent and proficient in it, like 2 to 3 years is where you're gonna really like, yeah, you got this. Okay. Those two did change everything. Yeah, you're right, Kalam. Salam, brother Kalam. Oh, when can we get you on Listing Podcast? I know. This year, though, as I said, I'm going to be doing a lot of features on podcasts. So yeah, I will definitely be doing something with you. 100%. Mark my word. Oh man, like biggest titan. Is that Canny? Yeah, must be. Says here, family tree. We still talking about your Muhammad, aka, oh my God, Faymiyun. Oh my God, this is where, yeah, you make mistake after mistake, my guy. Like I love it. I love the way that you're learning, but you need to go back and check who Faymiyun was, and see who he actually was with inside of history. And with us, at least 2 centuries, at least minimum 2 centuries prior to the 6th century. Okay, at least 2 centuries prior. Okay, the whole thing sounds like a stretch content narrative to the Abyssinian supremacy. Mecca was a small settlement. Um, okay, the whole thing sounds like a manufactured counter narrative to the Abyssinian supremacy. Yes, it does, doesn't it? It does. So we need to figure out, because I'm still racking brain to kind of figure out what took place, like what actually happened. So, um, for example, in 560 AD was the last inscriptions that we have in the 6th century, full stop. We don't have any inscriptions past 560 AD. And not to say that there wasn't any inscriptions, we just don't have any yet. Or in terms of in terms of whoever controls the narrative, right? Scholarly community, etc., the archaeological community of the country and so forth, right? They haven't released anything past 560 AD. So it's like we don't even know what's taking place. Then the next time we get any information about Arabia in terms of inscriptions or like dated information is roughly 640 AD, with like papyruses in Egypt, right? We have papyrus in Egypt underneath what's his name, Amir ibn al-Uz, his rule. So when he was doing things, we got some stuff there, and then we have some stuff to do with rock inscriptions in Arabia itself, right? And we know that there's this new calendar system that has come in, okay? The calendar system of the Mu'mineen. Like we know that's came in. So that came in roughly around 640 AD, yeah, 645, 644, 643. We have different inscriptions, right? So we know there is this new calendar comes in, but it doesn't start in that year. It starts in 620. But the first dated inscription or like documentary information is 640. And there's a narrative to say that, yeah, these people backtracked the date and started it much earlier. So it's like, ooh, this is very interesting. So it's like, what took place in 620 AD? What took place in 620 AD that there is this new calendar date that something starts? That's very interesting. But we've only got inscription from 640. So it's like, what happened in that 80-year period from 560 to 640 that there is this new calendar that has come into play? What has happened? What has happened? And yeah, you're right about the whole, anti-Abyssinian narrative. Yeah, quite possibly, there is this anti. So there is this anti-Abyssinian narrative. Quite possibly has come in, and we find that Ali. Ali was there speaking. This is like hadith literature now. So I don't know how true this is. I can't verify this information. But it's quite interesting to know that Ali was like speaking to the Najashi's son. Yeah. And it was like, listen, big man, like, well, you need to fight for your kingdom. Like, can you not see what's going on right now? Like, you need to fight for your kingdom. And at the same time, Ali was in fights with Muawiyah. It's just like, what was happening? What took place? Like, what's this big mystery that's taken place? It's like I want to find out. I want to find out. I definitely want to find out what actually took place. Because within inside of the narratives, you hear about like the Riddle Wars, the fights between Abu Bakr and this person, and blah blah blah. But all of it you just can't verify. So it's like I'm so pissed because you can't verify any of this information. It's just like, okay, sounds good. But what took place? What we do know in 660 AD, that Muawiyah refused to go to the cathedral of Muhammad, refused to go there. And then we also find in 661, 663 that he actually launched a expedition against the city of Marib and Sana. Like he went there. He went into like Abraha's like capital and actually started killing off people and so-called killing off Muslims and kidnapping their wives and all these things here. The first time it's ever been recorded, blah, 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 blah. So it's like, what was taking place that Muawiyah, ruling in Syria, who was anti these South Arabians, like what was happening during that time period? What took place? What took place? I'm interested to find out. If you guys know, please let me know. Educate me, because I'm still trying to figure it out. And then, of course, in 680, 683, you have the counter caliphate that was like, I'm tired of this freaking Umayyads. Yeah. Allow me, yeah. Let me bring in the teachings of Muhammad. So it's the first time now we find out about Muhammad from inscriptions, or dated. Sorry, let me say put it like this: dated material, um, outside of the Quran. So dated material outside of the Quran is within side of the Zubairids. The Zubairids were like, "Yo, Muhammad is the messenger." No, that's the wrong word. Muhammad is the apostle of God. Muhammad is the apostle of God. Yeah, he saw the risen Jesus Christ, and the risen Jesus Christ gave him his mission. Blah, 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 blah. Then in talking this Christian talk about Warka. Yeah, Christian this and this, that. And yeah, the Umayyads, they destroyed the image of Jesus and Mary inside of the sanctuary. Blah, blah, blah. Like you can see, it's a Christian movement that was taking place. The initial Muhammad talks was a very much so a Christian movement. But unfortunately, they got destroyed. 693, Abdul Malik, and then the post seal. I'm joking. But yeah, you have like Abdullah ibn Zubair. Him and his brother got killed, but his other brother now, Urwa ibn al Zubair, was like, don't kill me. I'll work with you. Let me help you. Let me give you the stuff that my brother was teaching, and like you can incorporate that into your religion now, and you can use that, and the people are gravitating to this Muhammad idea, so why don't you use it, and it's a nice way to control the people. Cool. I take that on board, and that's exactly what he did. Sick guy. Sick guy. I think Abdul Malik is like the Paul. He took the show on the road. He was the one who really like mass produced everything. After him, you start seeing Quranic inscriptions everywhere. You start seeing all sorts going on. And then the Abbasid period, they just put it on steroids and they just took it to a new level, inventing all sorts. But anyways, I'm talking. Cool. Um, let's see. Oh, hey, man, like Jose up in the building. Long time, my guy. Have you read the book "What on Earth Am I Here For" from Rick Warren? No, I haven't. I haven't. Of course, it must be. We're pushing him. Armani. Period. Beloved. Okay. Abraham. Fabian, late 4th, 5th century. Yeah. Yeah. If you don't know, go and research who Fabian is. Like, I know you're getting gas, but like, go and research who he is in history. Let me say, outside of Arabic literature, who is Faymiyun and who does his story align with mostly in history? That's what you need to do. Okay. Twin brother of Muhammad Hijab. Good luck. Twin brother of Muhammad Hijab. Wow. Okay. Amir ibn Al-Az converted to Islam in Aksum. Yes, the king of Aksum paid dowry for him. Am I right, Kalam? I don't know if he paid dowry for Muhammad. I don't know about Amir ibn Al-Az, but yeah, he got converted by the Najashi, according to Islamic literature. Yeah, yeah. See, all of these people, they have some type of tie with Abyssinia for some reason, and Ethiopia. For some reason, like the early Caliph, Umar, oh, he has Ethiopian ancestry. Huh, I wonder what's going on there. Then you have the Zubairids. Oh, they come from Ethiopian ancestry too, because they are the cousin or like related to Khadija, who as well comes from Ethiopian ancestry. It's like, come on, man. Like, when will people learn that this is like these stories just originating from Abyssinian Arabian, Abyssinian Arabia? Like, you need to learn that, man. Most people don't know it, and this is why history is so important. Okay, um, don't know, mate. Don't know, mate. Okay, all right. Akani, you're saying here that Fabian was Gregentius. Prove it. Okay, but that's what you got to do is prove it. Yeah, I've taught you how to do research. I've taught you how you make a claim. Now provide the evidence to substantiate the claim. Yeah, you don't try to what's it called bait me into doing your research for you. Okay, so Produce your evidence if you are truthful. Okay? Produce it. Show me how Fabian is Gregentius. You're talking on the right track. Hey, salute TLR Flavor. Yeah. But yeah, you should be dropping some knowledge on here for us, man. Come on. Because I can tell you know this stuff. Khalid Muhammad was the legendary figure Fabian. All right, mate. Okay. Anyways, stop trolling and stop trolling. Stop trolling, man. I don't know why you troll so much. But yeah. Oh. Sajid Hussein. Okay, has this been done? Uploaded yet? Because I need to make my way home. All right, perfect. Let me copy this link, put it in my note system, and then get it sent off. Imagine. At work till these ungodly hours. Cool. All right, family. Yeah. Yeah, family. So, is there anything that you guys would like to say to me before I go? Because I am finished here. I've got a few more minutes with you guys. Drop me something. No, I'm going now. I'm not even gonna cook no more. I'm just gonna go. So yeah, let me know if there's any questions or comments that you want me to read out. Tag me Titans TV, or just post up the comments, and then I'll get it read out for you. Still. Okay, my main man. Jeez, never stop. Ooh. Brethren, the implications of an Afro-Asiatic Quranic Christianity with Nile Valley memory that was both independent and pitinous, I don't know, of the Rome are revolutionary. I give thanks, give thanks. Thank you. Keep up the good work. Salute, salute. Salute Cohen Christmas and Great Hope. Thank you. Salute to you. Are the hadiths fake? 100% the hadiths are fake. Well, no. Let me be more academic with my response. So the question is: are the hadiths authentic, as in the sense of it goes directly back to the speech of Muhammad, a historical Muhammad or anything along those lines? And the answer is no. There is no hadith that goes back to the voice words of Muhammad at all. Okay? Most of this hadith stuff started to become popular and started to be generated roughly around 680, 680s, in the 680s. That's when they started to come. So you have the earliest narrative of Muhammad. Okay, the earliest narrative of Muhammad that originated roughly in the 680s. No scholar would say they are historical, but they are the earliest narrative of Muhammad. So if you wanted to say, for example, if I wanted to be a Muslim of the faith, I would gravitate more to the earliest hadiths of Muhammad versus the ones that came much later on and was developed over time. What did the earliest community teach about Muhammad? What was the earliest memory of this Muhammad? And so forth. And you will have to go inside of the Zubairid period. So what hadiths were produced during that Zubairid period, you'll find the earliest memory or the earliest storytelling of Muhammad. But scholars will all say they're still not historical, yet they are the earliest that we can see. Okay? And we can see that it drastically changes over the ages, over generations. Every single generation reimagines Muhammad based upon their own situation, based upon the politics, based upon theological disputes, based upon whatever the case is, there is evolution that's taking place within inside of the Hadith literature. You know, it's stated that within inside of Bukhari, inside of his, Sahih collection, he collected 600,000 hadiths. 600,000. And out of the 600,000, just over 6,000 of those hadiths were proved to be, in his methodology, proved to be authentic. And within inside of that, it's only like 3,000 hadiths that are not really repeated. So can you just imagine, out of 600,000 hadiths, only 3,000 you've deemed to be authentic. And you're a man, and you're fallible, and you don't have the advanced technologies that we have today, right? Computers, etc., to even be able to sift through a lot of this stuff. Out of 600,000, only 3,000 was authentic to you. So can you imagine how much mass production of, I don't want to use the word fake, the mass production of falsified reports and narratives that was taking place within the Muslim community. Sugar, one could say the lying community. Can you imagine? Like those storytellers are goddamn. Nah, I wouldn't even call them liars. You just have to understand the genre that they're trying to do is put the words that they would believe that Muhammad would have said into the mouth of this Muhammad, but no, none of it's historical. But the question is, was it intended to be historical? That's another question. But anyways, yeah. Hopefully that answers your question, though. Yeah, the hadiths, yeah, they cannot be authenticated. Let's see. Let me quickly see. Tools into your RS source path. Yep, study Malik. Is that Malik ibn Anas or Imam Malik? Jeez, yeah, man, why you not getting at me at the bed, man? Listen, the barber wasn't open, man. I can't even lie, the barber was not open. Actually, no, it was open. When I went there, it's just packed out, man. I couldn't even go. Allow me. Okay. All right. Abyssinia, Quranic Christianity is potentially Black Row or both Rome and Persia. I mean to say, fix up the beard. Oh my God, leave me in my beard, man. Al Bukhari respected Al Malik, that Himyari. Here, what? Oh, Kalam, family. Do you think the Quran's authentically from Muhammad? Mm, 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 mm. So, I would say not all of it is going to be from Muhammad himself, but it's quite possible that it goes back to the early community of Muhammad, the historical Muhammad. So yeah, that's what I would say. I'll say that it goes back to the community of the historical Muhammad, because yeah, if we take it as what it is, like Muhammad was an apostle, and he set up his throne with its side of Arabia. And after he passed, his followers gathered up his works, i.e., the sermons or homilies that he had performed or written down. That's what the community would have done. Liturgical works such as prayers and stuff that was part of the community. They gathered that up and, put that into some form of a book. Like I can see that it has the ability to go back to that, but then at times I see that it could be pulling from inscriptions as well. Like when I look at pre-Islamic inscriptions, it's like, it looks like it's pulling from that type of material, especially the short ones seem to be that way inclined, which are like reworking of the Psalms. So a lot of the Psalms you can see is reworked within inside of the Quran itself. And that's what there was a lot of that within inside of the inscription. So it's like, Okay, some of it could have definitely come from him directly, and then others could be reworking or just like, you know, seeing these inscriptions or these wooden sticks that had psalms written on it, and then used to go inside of the Quran. And then again, you have like prayers and stuff that aren't technically part of the Quran. If you go back, like if you study like textual, you if you study, you'll understand like the Ibn Masud codex and Ali's codex and all these different Sahabas codexes. You'll realize that certain chapters um, are not supposed to be part of the Quran. So, for example, chapter 1, Surah Al Fatiha, is not actually meant to be a surah inside of the Quran. It's just like an opening of the Quran, like a prayer that's to start off the Quran with. Like, it's just a prayer, but not the start of the actual Quran. And just like the last couple of chapters inside of the Quran, um, and even using the term chapter, surah doesn't really translate to chapter. But anyways, like let's just say the unit of the Quran that they call a surah, you can see that it's a prayer that's not meant to be part of the Quran. It's just meant to close out your reading of a book or closing off the reading of a prayer, whatever the case is, to like give you protection and so forth. It's like, okay, cool. Those liturgical elements, technically, they're not part of the Quran, and some codexes didn't include it inside of the Quran. Then some codexes actually had an extra two surahs inside of the Quran, which again are prayers that others said, no, they're not really part of the Quran, they're just prayers and so forth. So it's like, yeah, yeah, answer it simply. I do think that the early community of Muhammad Quranic followers, Muhammad followers, constructed the Quran based upon materials that the community used within inside of their liturgy, and based upon the materials that was produced by the Muhammad of the Quran. Yeah, that's what I think. Okay. Do. And that should be it. Um, cool. I know Hamburg. Okay. All of this to find out is Obama. Okay, is the Persian invasion of Yemen in the 6th century historical? No, it's not. It's really not. Um, yeah, I would say they found something in 575 somewhere that has some Persian writing on it or something like that. But that's nothing to say that this Persian narrative really took place. What would be amazing if there is a Persian record of them going into Arabia um, in the late 6th century? That would be one thing. Then another thing, to have like inscriptions, records somewhere in Arabia to say this really happened. There's nothing. All we really have is Tabari writing in 900 and something, talking about what took place 300 to 400 years prior. 400, 300, yeah, let's just say 400 years prior. It's like, is that really a good source? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Especially when we know that their chronology is completely off. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. Even when they say like Abraham died here, it's like, I don't know. I don't know. How are you so certain? I'm not certain about that. There's a lot of things that you just can't be certain about. All you know is we have inscriptions up to the year 560 AD. We don't have any, like, Abraham could have lived much longer than that. If you look at his contemporary, such as Justinian, I'm sure he ruled like over 40 years or something like that. Like you have like it's like I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. You're telling me something new here. Oh yeah, your Muhammad must have died at this age. It's like, how do you know? Like, how do you know this? Because I don't know this. I can't tell you this. This is what history like will tell you. This is as much as we can say. We just don't know. And there's no shame in saying we don't know. Just because your religion has traditions that says this happened and that happened and this happened, you feel empowered. And now, because somebody's saying they don't know, means, yeah, see, you're weak because you don't know. But your stuff is, it doesn't know neither. It's just talking. It's just talking. Anybody can talk. I can tell you what happened 6,000 years ago, 6 million years ago. I'm just talking. Unless you can back it up and prove it, it's just all talk. You dig? Because, do you really believe that birds flew out of flew from in the sky and threw clay down on the on Abraha and his elephant and stuff like this? It's like, do you believe that? Of course you believe it because you've been trained to believe it. But historically, does it make sense? Historically, an elephant traveling through Arabia, does that make sense? For you, you don't know because you don't understand. You've never been to Africa. You've never seen how huge, humongous elephants are, how much water that they need to bathe in and mud and all these things. You don't understand natural world. You just, live in the mystical world. And then birds flying in from, or like on command, and these things happen. And even when they dropped stones out of their beak, do you think that can have such a massive damage on somebody? Do you know how big that bird would have to be to carry a boulder, a stone so huge in order to drop from the sky to cause any damage on anybody? And you're telling me what? The houses never got damaged, neither? Like the crops never got damaged? The livestock never got damaged? Oh, come on, man. Sometimes we need to think before we talk. We really do. And get out of mystical and magical worlds. Okay, cool. Anyways, I think it's time for me to go because I am tired. Um the Persian vision. Wait a minute. Okay, cool. You think Quran inspired by God Titans? Okay. So I'm gonna give you something that's gonna be shocking because I'm gonna be speaking about this heavily. I think that the Quran. No, let me start with the claim. The so-called Islamic claim, I think, is true, um, but they're false. Okay, the claim is true, but they are false and false with it. So let me make that make more sense. So, for example, I always talk about this. You have the Shahadatain that Muhammad is the apostle of God. That is true. We have records of that. Um, and I'm talking about the historical Muhammad. Okay, so the historical Muhammad of the 6th century, yeah, that was an apostle. Okay, we can assume he was inspired, right? In terms of his writing, his inspiration would have been God, the Christian God. Okay, and in his writings would therefore be inspired by God. And he's whatever he does is inspired by God. It's not to say that, yeah, let's just say it's inspired by God. Let's just say that. Cool. That's calm. Now, the question is the Muhammad of the faith of Islam um, really the apostle of God? And that answer is false. The Muhammad of the Islamic faith and traditions is not. Okay, we're never let's not mix the two together. Like, let's definitely not mix the two together, because how we identify an apostle, if you ask any Muslim to say, prove to me that Muhammad was an apostle, they can't. Anything that they give would be like fallacious. Like everything that they will give, everything that they know about Muhammad being an apostle, they don't even know what the word apostle is. You know them ways they didn't even have a clue. So I don't want to be bad mind onto Muslims or nothing like that. I'm just telling you the facts. Ask them what is an apostle. They can't prove it. Ask them, okay, so like, how do you confirm that he's an apostle? They don't have a clue. Like none of them have a clue because the one from time they admit that their apostle, their prophet or their apostle was an illiterate, it disqualifies them. It disqualifies them. And some people be asking, "Why you telling me that a prophet and apostle cannot be can't be literate, bro? How? 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 sometimes I think like people just don't understand. People just don't understand. They really don't understand. You just think people are just in some magical mythical world here where anything is possible. Dickhead. The number one thing here is to be able to ikra, to be able to read. Yeah? If you can't read, you cannot be a prophet. You cannot be an apostle. It's impossible. Okay? And for those Christians that you need something, yeah, go read the Didache. Go read the Didache of the apostles. Go read that. Learn. Learn how you can know whether somebody is truly an apostle or a prophet or a man from God, and whether you should be supporting them financially or not, or how they should greet you. And like, there's so much to it to know how to test the spirit to know whether this person is truly from God or not. And this is what I mean. Like, I look at the state of certain people. I'm like, is this what you classify as this, bro? Many false prophets come in my name, many of them. Yeah, just letting you know that from now, and that's why I'm happy. My sheep, they know my name. They know my name. They know my name. And I'm for real, Muslims. Question to you now, yeah. If the Mahdi, yeah, kalam, or if the Messiah, kalam, ever came, yeah, how would you recognize? How would you know that's him? How would you know? And imagine, yeah, that same Mahdi or Messiah comes, yeah, and says, the Quran? What? Huh? I don't read the Quran. I'm illiterate. I don't know what the Quran says. How many of you guys would take that person seriously? I just want to know. Let me know. Let me know. Show of hands. Who take that person seriously? Just let me know, innit? Quran? What? That corrupted old book? That corrupted old thing? What do you mean? No, let me confirm. I'm going to confirm the Quran, yeah? But I'm telling you right now, that book is corrupted, fam. Yeah? I want to know, like, how would you know? How would you know? What is your measuring stick? None of you know. None of you know. And that's to my Christians as well, because enough Christians will be going to like these new Pentecostals churches and so forth, right? And these pastors have got big titles. I'm an apostle. I'm an apostle of God. Yes. I saw one the other day that he sits on his parishioners' face and farts on them and says, "Yeah, that has healing power." Dickheads. Absolute dickheads. I'm confused with the religious world. Yeah, I'm sending shots at both Christians and Muslims. I'm equally discriminating against both sides, equally. Yeah. So because you're Christian and you think I'm talking your talks, don't think you're safe. Yeah, because my type of talks is just the truth. I don't care. I don't take sides. I'm only on the side of the truth. So yeah, like everybody, I think we need to start going back and kind of learning the old text and understanding what is what is an apostle, what is a prophet, what is a teacher, like what is a bishop, like what is a priest, what is a deacon. Learn, like literally just learn. If you learn your religion, please, so like you won't be taken advantage of. You will not be taken advantage of, because a lot of people are being taken advantage of, both in the church and in the mosque, and it saddens my heart, 100%. And that's why when the Messiah comes, he's going to be coming as what he came in the first place: an educator, a teacher, yeah, a proper Rabboni, yeah. That's what he's going to do. When he comes, he's going to go to Egypt, learn Kemetic information first, and then come back to the rest of you guys and teach you guys your religion correctly. Let me stop catching jokes with you guys, yeah? Because everything I'm saying is the truth, though. Wallahi, it's the truth, but we'll talk about that another day. Okay, chronology based on Christian hymns and symbology. Yeah, yeah, and more. It's not just that, but yeah, definitely, 100%. One really interesting info on Saint Granges is preaching. Ooh, This one I love. There you go, Matthew. Preaching and spreading Christianity to the Jews in Arabia. It even says they were forced converted and had to pay tribute. Sounds like Islam's jizya to me. Yeah, yeah. That's Byzantine. It's both jizya. Like all of that is actually from Byzantine, the Byzantine Empire. That's where Islam really got it from as well. Okay. Because I'm about to leave right now. Shakur. Salute to you, my brother. I love you, you know. Just know I love you. Yeah? Just letting you know that from now. All right, cool. But Kalam brother, haven't you ever considered that all the religions are fake, man-made copies from copies over millennia? Every single religion and every single book or literature is all man-made. Okay, all of them is all man-made. Okay, and we need to stop taking away, like, man has power. Like, man has power to do a lot of things. So it's not like a sly to say something is man-made, because it is all man-made. I think more time is it God inspired? Is it God inspired or not? Or better use of terminology, is it does it come from principles upon high, like high principles versus base principles? Like, that's the real question. And you just have to look at the fruits of the people that follow that, whatever that is. It's like, is this a high principle action that these followers are taking, or is it low principle action that they're taking? If it's low principle actions, then you know, yeah, these people are low principled people. Therefore, one of my teachers taught me this actually. Show me a weak man, and I will show you a weak God. Yeah, simple as. If I look at the men carefully in your life, whatever they're standing on, if it's not strong, yeah, just know it's not of God, and that is a very weak man. And whatever God that they're serving is a very weak God as well. Cool. Can you add me to ask a question? Nope, I can't add you to ask a question. If you have a question, just ask away, but I am going. I think I tried this before. Can I actually add people to this? No, I don't think I can. Oh, that's green screen. Nope. I don't want a green screen. Turn this off. Cool. Nah, I don't even know. I don't even know how to add people. Yep. I don't even know how to add people. Hitting all these buttons to figure that out. Nope. Can't add anybody. Cool. Yeah, you can't add. Jose has confirmed. Anyways, family tree, it's time for me to go. Raw. After 11, still at work, you know, can you imagine? Yikes. Cool. Family tree, love. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, I will be on Lloyd the Young's channel on Wednesday. I might even do a show tomorrow. Maybe. I'm sure I've always got some materials that is in presentation form that I can just quickly create something. So I'll see if I'll do something tomorrow for you guys. Yeah. Was Mecca at satellite city an observation or Egypt? Yeah. Was Mecca at satellite a satellite city or Egypt? Yeah. Nah, man. Mecca is something that was created for the purposes of creating something, man. Keep doing that work. Love, family tree, peace and love. Catch